Check, check, check. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing out there, huh? What's up, Ledge? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. What's up, babe? Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing today, man? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream, baby. If you are watching this live, thank you for coming to the chat. I appreciate it every single time. If you're watching this on the rewind, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Try and be here live so that you can chat with us, have a fun time, you know what I mean? Chop it up with the community, hang out a little bit, and talk about what we talk about every Pioneer podcast, which is whatever you guys want to talk about. But I figured that today we could start talking about Last of Us, because as of yesterday, we are 1 week away from the TV show. And if you know anything about me, and you know anything about the content that we've created and anything that we've ever talked about, Last of Us means a lot to me. The game means a lot to me. Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 is the side that I lean more heavily on. It's in my top 5 of all time. The first Last of Us is, I think, 8th out of top 10 all time for me. So still very good, of course. But yeah, man, and I wanted to talk about some expectations and theories and maybe thoughts that we have going into the show. And I want to know what you guys are thinking, because I know many people here will probably be watching it. And I think it's definitely very important to be supporting a game being adapted onto television. I think it's a huge dub for the gaming community. I think it's a huge dub for us all that care about this platform and want to see more opportunities coming in the future. I know Borderlands is going to be doing something. I know we just had the Halo TV show. Didn't go well at all. That was horrible, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, and we've talked about Cal Kestis, who was in Jedi Fallen Order in the Star Wars show. Star Wars game, hopefully ending up in one of the movies or shows or something like that. So this is amazing. This is a great opportunity, and I hope that HBO does it well. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited is because it's on HBO, and Neil Druckmann, the creator of Last of Us, is a part of the crew who's following along with them on every single episode and making sure that everything is consistent with what we can expect from the show, because they have talked about this being a direct adaptation to the game. This isn't like them taking the game as inspiration and doing whatever they want. They want to replicate the experience that we experienced in the game and flesh it out even more, being able to talk about certain characters and do flashbacks and take time to really, you know, expand on these characters where we haven't had the opportunity in the game because gameplay got in the way, or because it would be a fucking 60-hour game if it were that case. So I think that their intent and their direction is exactly what we were hoping for. So Sunday we're gonna find out. Heard the budget for the first season is more than the Game of Thrones season 1 through 5. I heard the same exact thing. Mo, you probably retweeted it, and that's why I saw it. If you guys are ever in need of gaming updates and wanting to know what's going on in the gaming world, one, I suggest following Mo Rated on Twitter, and the other one is our Discord, SU Productions. He's amazing at keeping our Discord updated with everything that's going on. So if you're ever needing to know about gaming news, those are two great places to look. What's up, Blunt Poppy Supreme? Welcome to the stream, baby. Hope you're doing fantastic, man. I've been thinking about you recently, and it's just nice seeing you in the stream, man. What's up, everybody? Hopefully they don't pull a Halo. I don't expect them to pull a Halo because they brought in concept artists, they brought in graphic designers to come into the team. I don't think they're a part of the HBO team, but I believe that they're creating or giving guidance to the people that are hired for the show and telling them, okay, here for the costume design, you know, we did this in the game, so I would make sure you guys do this, and when it comes to this character, make sure that you did this, which is what you need when you are doing shit like this. You know what's a great question that I actually just thought of right now? I wonder if oh man, I can't believe I just forgot her name. Guys, author of Harry Potter. I'm so embarrassed. Author of Harry Potter. What's her name? You guys are about to say it in 2 seconds. But her. I don't know how involved she was in the Harry Potters. I know that I think in the later end she wasn't involved. But I think in the early stages she was heavily involved. J.K. Rowling. Thank you. So that'd be something interesting to look into. I think they did that, and I think that that's the recipe for anybody, for any show moving forward. If they're adapting a book, a play, a song, a video game, whatever it is, you have to have some consistency as far as who's calling the shots and who's making sure that everything is staying true to the truth of the games. Honestly, can't wait to see those damn clickers. Those were the most terrifying in the game. I agree. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but they actually have decided to not change, but adjust part of the lore when it comes to the infected. In the game, spores was a huge thing. So if you ever remember seeing clips of the game, if you didn't play it, or if you played it, when you would go into a certain area and they knew infected were there, you would see like these little floating dust particles around, and they would put on the mask, and that was one of the ways that you knew someone wasn't immune, and that was one of the ways that we found out, and other characters found out Ellie was immune, was because she could be in those areas without the mask, etc. They've decided in the show to not do that, which I thought was interesting, but they kind of came up with a new method to describe in the show, like once you see an infected area. But from what I heard, it's based on early concept designs and early concepts of the first Last of Us that was actually never used. So that's pretty dope. You know, being able to go back and look at your like recycled or material that you never got to use in the games and go, oh shit, we could use this for the shows because it's still our idea and it still makes sense. So I'm very fucking excited, if you can't tell, man. And I have a lot of expectations for the show, which another thing is pretty cool that I wanted to let you guys know is I was actually invited to go to a podcast and talk about the premiere of the show. I don't know if I'll be appearing for the premiere or the finale. I think I'm doing the premiere, so that's why I said it. But they invited me to go on there and talk about my reaction to the first episode, and mostly because I have the experience of the games and, you know, everything with the channel. So I'm really excited about that. I'll make sure to link you guys to that and post it everywhere so you guys know what's going on with that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I did a guest podcast experience, or it was 2 weeks ago, last week. No, it might have been 2 weeks ago. I was a guest on a friend's podcast who's starting just like a talk show kind of thing, talking to other creators and stuff like that. That was really fun too. So make sure you guys check that out. I think I linked it in the Discord and stuff like that. I don't think there's any link for it in the chat, but it was great, man. We had a really great talk about mental health and being a creator and stuff like that. So I would check that out. But go back to Last of Us. I'm so excited. I hope that we get more adaptations this year. I don't know what you guys are expecting. I know for the people that have watched the playthroughs of the game or played the game, there's some things that you guys are definitely very particular about, and so am I. And because it's an adaptation, I think they're going to stay pretty true to it. But I would say the first things that I'm really hoping we get right are, of course, the characters, and that they're very true to who they're supposed to be in the specific era that we see them in. So when we first meet Joel in Last of Us, the first time we ever see him is him coming home late to his daughter sleeping on the couch, and she gives him the gift of the watch. And later that night is when Outbreak Day happens. And you can see that he was, very kind of the way that we ended up seeing the way he treated Ellie in part 2. That's how he was with his daughter. Super kind, communicative, like funny and brighter. And I'm hoping we get to see that, and I think we're going to see more of it. From what I know, they're going to go into greater lengths and depths talking about what happened before Outbreak Day. I think we're going to be able to see a lot of the different characters before Outbreak Day, would be my assumption. I think that we're actually going to get like Ellie before Outbreak Day. I think we're going to see Joel before Outbreak Day and his daughter and what their relationship was like. We might see more of Tommy. So that's going to be super, super dope. And I know that there's going to be a lot of other characters that come along the show that are really fledged out, but those are the really important ones, especially for Tommy, thinking about part 2 because he's more involved in that. Yeah, man, I'm really excited. And I'll play part 2 first and one afterwards. Won't finish part 1 and jump into the multiplayer joint. Migs, I think you're just screwed, dude. You said you're going to watch the show before playing the game. You're screwed now, dude. Like, you don't have time to do anything. You just have to watch the show. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You'll have to... I don't know what you're going to do. I don't even know how you still have the desire necessarily to play the games after watching me play it and then watching the show. But, to each their own. To each their own. I know you still get the experience from playing it on your own, so I do recommend absolutely playing both of those games. All-timers. And if you ever want to be in a room with gamers and have a quality conversation, you have to have played Last of Us. That's too iconic to be like, no, I've actually never tried it. You can't be that guy. So please play it, because I know that you're working on your gaming catalog. So is a lot of people in the community. I heard from a lot of you guys that you guys got a PS5 for Christmas. Congratulations to all of you. I've heard of, I think, 5 different people now since Christmas that all got a PS5. So if you're enjoying it, I hope you're enjoying it. And if you haven't really tested it out that much, I highly recommend this. And I've been telling everybody, play Astro's Playroom. It's the one game that comes with a console that's free and walks you through how the controller works, the haptic feedbacks, the adaptive triggers, so that when you're doing a certain thing, the trigger has more weight and you have to pull it harder, stuff like that. So make sure you guys are testing that shit out, because PS5 is a phenomenal console. For example, I think Ledge, you told me last week you got the Series X, also new gen, so that's all great. And it's basically the same thing, just different games and different UI, but same processing speed, probably, if not like milliseconds different, same graphics, same basically everything, just different UI, different games, So as long as you guys are getting a next gen console, for everyone that's out there, if you don't have a PC, I mean, it's next gen enough, but make sure you do it, man. Gaming is moving forward. And I also saw, shockingly enough, I saw something on Twitter today that said that Apple is coming out with a VR headset later this year. I'm intrigued, and I am listening. Apple is doing VR. I'm very interested. Now, what angle are they doing it in? I'm not sure. Is it in the gaming space? Not sure. I know they've been working on kind of growing their gaming catalog, but mostly in the mobile games section. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I like the technology made by Apple, so I have high hopes. I played a COD multiplayer match with 3 dudes my age. They were yapping about their missions, goals, whatever. Hey, I'm glad you got some COD experience, man. I'm glad you fucking did that. I've been playing an incredible World War II game. I've been hooked. Incredible community and gameplay. What's the game called? I haven't really had much of an opportunity to use my Steam Deck as much yet, which I got for Christmas, because I got to get a game for it. All my Steam games are games that I've either beat or like kind of have moved on from. So I got to get a game for the Steam Deck to really get myself invested in it. So I am looking for games to play off stream. And a reminder to anyone who's wondering what our stream schedule is looking forward for the next about 8 weeks, I would say. We got Last of Us Part 2 this week. So after today, Tuesday through Friday, we'll be playing part 2, trying to finish that up. And then next week, if we need to beat the game, we will. But we'll be uploading next week a lot of our content from part 1 to match up with what's going on in the show. So that'll be pretty cool to match up the scenes with what we see on the show and when I did my gameplay back in September. Hell Let Loose. How did I know you were going to say that? I literally had it in the back of my head as soon as I was reading World War II Game I've Been Hooked Incredible Community. I was going to say Hell Let Loose because it's on sale right now. So I've actually been keeping my eye on it. Maybe I'll try it. I unmute myself and tell them, hey fellas, I haven't played a system since Super Nintendo. Their response, fuck. Yeah, that'd probably be me too, bro. If you're in my COD lobby. You believe it has crossplay? Ooh. Gonna have to give that a try, man. Gonna have to give that a try. So going back to The Last of Us, before we completely transition, because I want to make sure that I do say a few things. We talked about characters and staying true to themselves. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And I think it's going to be interesting how they reveal Ellie to us. I think there's probably 2 options. I think option number 1 is we get to see like what she's experiencing before Outbreak Day and kind of rolling into it and seeing what her experience was like, which is interesting and would be cool to see because we didn't get to see that in the games. Or the other option is they really do it how they did it in the games and not reveal her until they do the 20-year jump. Because remember, from Outbreak Day, the only thing we see after Outbreak Day is the 20-year jump to when Joel wakes up in Boston in his apartment and we begin, the first game. So it'll be interesting. I don't mind seeing either or. I know we're definitely going to get the time jump. But I wonder if they'll save Ellie for episode 2 or right at the end of episode 1, or we're getting her right away. Like we're getting Joel and we're getting to see his backstory before Outbreak Day. We're getting Ellie's backstory before Outbreak Day. We're getting all these other people that we're going to see very shortly. And then it shows us present day and how everyone deals with Outbreak Day. And then they do the 20-year jump and then we don't see Ellie until they meet, kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure how they'll do it, but all I want to make sure is that however they decide to do things is that they're making sure they're taking care of these characters and being accurate with their personalities, because Joel and Ellie's relationship is the foundation of this entire show. If they don't get that shit right immediately, it's a bust. But I can't imagine it's going to go wrong. Both are like incredibly experienced actors with a pretty diverse catalog, especially Pedro. I mean, it's a fucking Mando, bro. And he supposedly is like one of the nicest guys in the world. So for him to play Joel, especially Joel Part 1 Joel, like the murderer Joel, will be very interesting. What's up, Paralyzer? Welcome to the stream, Poppy. Happy Monday. We're talking about Last of Us, getting prepped for the show that's dropping a week from yesterday. A lot of expectations, high anticipation. Narcos, of course, saw that as well. He was phenomenal in that. Game of Thrones, which Bella Ramsey was also in. So a lot of expectations and a lot of high hopes, and I think it's going to deliver. I've been loving their marketing, by the way. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention on Twitter or on YouTube, but they have been dropping so much content behind the scenes, actors talking about how their experience went and how they feel about the games and stuff like that, and having executive producers go into great depth about their approach before starting the show. So I loved how much their marketing for this show has been focused on the gaming community and what the game means and what the game has done, and how do we pay respect to the game, how do we meet people's expectations. That's what Halo should have done. But instead they say, hey, this is a cool game. Yeah, maybe it meant a lot to a lot of people. Let's just, take it and run with it and make like a space fucking, hero story. It's like, dude, you're like missing all of the little pieces. You are not paying attention to, you are not aware enough to realize how much this is going to culturally impact the game. And Halo was already on a decline at the time that the show came out. Of course, Infinite had just kind of recently come out, but was already on the downward spiral. And then you have a show with the same title that's supposed to be about the game and has really no resemblance at all. The guy has his name. His name is Master Chief. He wears the same armor. There's the same enemies, but everything else is different. Everything else is different, which is just so fucking disrespectful. I don't know what my future holds. I don't know if I'm ever going to create a show or create a game. I don't doubt that that's something possible in my future. But if I ever get that opportunity and I fuck it up, I'm a dumbass. Just letting you guys know now, so you can angrily yell at me when that happens, because I just don't understand how these people develop. They just don't care. They just don't give a fuck. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're hired to do this show, and they're here like, oh, it's derived from a video game with like a lot of great history and great culture and great community. Oh yeah, let me read like a Wikipedia page. Oh, dope. All right, let's make this show. Let's go off of whatever script we have. Let's come up with new creative design. It's like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? And I hope, I only played a little bit of Borderlands 3. I was never invested in the series, so I'm not too attached to it, so I'm not going to be the one to talk about that as much. But I hope they learn from Last of Us. I hope they learn from Halo and the hundreds of other adaptations that have come before us. Speaking of video game adaptations, we're also getting Mario this year. That's going to be a really dope one. I think from everything we've seen, that one's going to be pretty, that one's going to be fun, man. That should be a great movie. It should be. Voice acting and like interpretations of that stuff. Like, I know people are having problems with Chris Pratt's voice acting, but that's like the little nuance. Like, that's, to me, that's not the stuff to pick at. Like, okay, yeah, could he sound a little more Italian? Like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. Do you not see what's in front of your fucking face? Like, do you not see these incredible graphics and all of these characters we're getting to see on the screen, and like the world that they're building in front of us, and all the other great voice actors for all the other characters? Like, you got to think bigger, man. You got to see big pictures to what they're doing and not get caught up in the little bullshit. So I think that movie, I should say, is going to be amazing. Going to be amazing. I think Last of Us is going to be a hit this year. Borderlands, we'll have to see. For anyone that's a freaking Borderlands big fan, that'll be up to you guys to let me know. I don't know if there's anyone in here who played much of the Borderlands games. I also have heard that God of War is potentially getting an adaptation. I don't know. I think I saw a rumor that maybe Amazon Prime is looking to pick that up. That's a little worrisome, because Prime was Halo as well. So that's scary. I hope it goes to HBO, because if you want to do violent, if you want to do gory, if you want to do deep, emotional, if you want to have like dense plots, HBO is the platform, because the catalog that exists there is all of that type of content. Like, all of HBO's original shows, all of that is all within the same realm. And God of War, it deserves to exist on the same platform that created Game of Thrones, because you have to do giants, you have to do the world serpent, you have to do a lot of like crazy, mystical, fantastical things. So I hope that HBO gets it. Top 3 actors you'd pick to be Kratos. I think that Kratos should go to the voice actor. I really fucking think it should go to him. If you've never seen what he looks like, look it up right now. He's Diesel. I mean, Diesel. Like, I don't know how tall he is, but he's a big, intimidating, stocky, tall, muscular dude with Kratos' voice. Christopher Judge, thank you, Paralyzer. That's who should be the live action Kratos. I think he should be the first one to get the interview. And if it doesn't work out, all right, it doesn't work out. I don't see why it can't. I think it should go to him first. And then my second pick, only because he's relevant in my mind right now, would be Dave Bautista. Especially since he said he doesn't want to work with Disney anymore because he's looking to do more mature content and have a little bit more of a complex role. Does he have the voice for it? Not necessarily, but he has the build, the height. I think that's going to be important. Like, if I'm seeing Kratos on screen, that motherfucker better be minimum 6'4", 225 pounds. Like, he has to feel powerful on screen. So maybe that's my second pick. And then third, I don't think I have one. Probably someone I've never heard of. Dave was boss in that zombie movie. You guys are going to hate me, but I never saw that one. But I heard it was very good. DC's going to be very interesting too, by the way. I wasn't planning on talking about that, but I know that James Gunn has come out and talked about there potentially being a 10-year plan. How long have we talked about this, guys? How long have we talked about this? DC has a plan. About damn time, man. About damn time. These fucking rich motherfucking billionaires sitting on their yachts just releasing shit and not knowing how it's doing. Oh yeah, Wonder Woman, how much did it make? That's what they're looking at. They're not seeing how is the culture reacting to it. How's the fandom growing? And you're gonna get fandom from making a Batman movie and a Wonder Woman movie, duh. But it's not about leaving an effect for a few months. Like, we're trying to create a universe. We're trying to impact people long term. So I'm hoping that James Gunn does it right, and I think he will. I think he's the right guy for the job. And I'm very excited, very, very excited about DC's future. Finally. Doesn't feel half-assed. Fuck me, man. Oh. Two things that we also need to talk about is, one, I saw Glass Onion, and I also saw Avatar: Way of Water. I guess I could give you guys my opinion on both of those. That'd be a great time to do that. Glass Onion, cool. A good mystery murder movie. Not anything new, not anything really creative, not anything shocking, not anything really worth remembering or advising people to watch, to be honest. I really didn't care much for it. Especially in comparison to Knives Out, which was incredible. I think if Glass Onion was its own thing, removed from Knives Out with different actors and different director, I would still feel the same. It's kind of like it's an 8.2 out of 10. Like, it's solid, cool. Nothing more than just, it's cool. Knives Out was a 9.4, 9.3 out of 10. So much more elite, much more creative, much more unsettling, and constantly keeping you on edge. I felt like Glass Onion was kind of predictable. That's just me. Also, I watched Avatar: Way of Water in IMAX 3D, and I thought it was pretty vanilla. I thought it looked absolutely gorgeous. I thought the 3D was pretty great. But remove that and you have a pretty vanilla story, and just, like a story I've seen before, but except they're blue and really fucking tall. That was it. The movie ended and I was like, I looked at Bella and I didn't even feel like excited to tell her how I felt about it and like express my opinion on it. I just got out of it and I was like, wow, man, that was beautiful. All right, what's next? Didn't really stick on my mind. I thought that there was some questionable characters. I thought Spider was the most useless character of all time. Absolutely useless the entire movie. Did nothing to help anything ever. In fact, he saves the fucking villain so that we get a third movie on some bullshit. Whack as fuck. Characters were whack. Story I felt was weird. Like, it starts with him, right? So remember the end of the first Avatar, right? He becomes the chief, or whatever you want to call, of his kingdom. And then in the second movie, he finds out that he's being targeted again by the space people, aka humans. And instead of what I anticipated would be him waging war and wanting to defend his tribe that he is now a part of, right? Now he's a full fucking Na'vi, right? That's what they're called. He's not an avatar anymore. Well, I mean, he kind of is, but he was fused into the body now. Like, it's permanent. I would think that he would, like, we'd get a war movie. Instead, they gave us a filler movie and he just left his homeland. He was like, oh, well, my priority is my family. So, you know, I know you guys just made me king like a year ago, and I know there's like thousands of you, but actually I'm gonna dip and just protect my kids. Like, what? Is this a family movie, or is this guy the king of an entire planet who's trying to defend themselves from the fucking colonizers that are the human race? Like, I was confused. And then I was like, oh, you're just drawing this out so that in 4 and 5, we get a huge war. And then the guy who's the villain of the first movie, villain of the second movie, who ends up magically fucking surviving, ends up having this huge hero arc where by the 5th movie, he's the one that saves everyone. And it's like, wow, what an arc. He was once the villain. It's like, I'm exhausted. I'm not. You didn't do much for me. So Avatar Way of Water, probably an 8.2 out of 10 for me. Visually, 9.5 out of 10. Gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Doing CGI on water is like the hardest thing there is to fucking do, and it was beautiful. Never questioned the CGI at any point. I thought there was a few scenes where the 3D didn't translate as well. I thought there was a few moments in the movie where it didn't look stitched well, and there were certain points in the movie where the frame rate didn't really help the fact that I was trying to see things in 3D and it became kind of blurry. So, but other than that, fantastic. And yeah, I thought, yeah, not worth the hype. I would watch it again just to like make sure that I'm not being overcritical and not being biased or over judgmental. I'd like to give it a second try. I'm not in a rush to. I'll probably wait for it to come out on streaming. Yeah, I think I'm pretty solid on that. Whoa, you're being generous with the rating, babe. I'd give it a 7.5 for the story, 9.0 for the visuals. Well, I gave it an 8.2 overall. So considering characters, story, animation, art, concept, 3D, voice acting, considering everything, 8.2, 8.1. Visuals, 9. Story, 6.5. Maybe 6.3, honestly. I thought the story was boring. And I was also, you know, when you go into a movie feeling like they already know where this is going and they know where they want this to end up and they just need reasons to get there rather than letting the story progress naturally and letting how the story progresses on each film dictate how it ends. I like that feeling. I don't like when I'm going into a movie and I can tell that you want to do 6, and you're making this second one because you just want to advance the story a little bit, give me a little bit more meat, and then the third one and the fourth one will have the big moment, and then the 5th one will have the big war. It's like, why are you just grabbing my wallet, and why are you wasting my time? I don't need a filler movie. If you can get this done in 3 movies, get it done in 3 movies. I don't need 2 and 3 and 4 to be 7.5 so that 5 can be a 10. Like, I don't think that's great storytelling. I think great storytelling is each film lives on its own and is great and adds to the overall story rather than it being an excuse to get to the end. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's my take on Avatar: The Way of Water. Glass Onion as well. Have I watched anything else recently? No, I don't think so. I hope I don't sound overly critical, even though I am being overly critical, but I'm trying to just give you a very in-depth analysis on what came to mind when watching all of that shit. So, I don't know how you guys feel. Ledge, I'm sorry about Andor, man. It's just hard watching that first episode again because it was so boring the first time that I literally remember nothing. So now I have to watch the first episode over again and really pay attention when I know I already watched it once and I was so bored. I know it gets really good towards the end. I know, I've heard it's fucking phenomenal. It's just I got to get over the hurdle of having to rewatch a first episode. So I'll get there eventually. Ooh, Paralyzer. Speaking of Puss in Boots, I have heard that Puss in Boots might be the best animated movie we've had in a bit and could be up for best of the year. That of course is until Across the Spider-Verse releases and then everyone will forget about it. But I heard it's very good, and I heard the villain is very good too. So that's actually something that I'm intrigued by and will probably watch. Babe, if you're listening, we should watch that. That'd be cool to watch in theaters. I think that'll be fun. The animation is beautiful and vibrant, and it's not like regular Disney animation, right? It's got kind of like I don't want to say stop motion, but it has kind of like I don't know like the word for it, but it has like kind of a Stitch feel to it. I'm not really sure how to call it. I don't know what the name is, but it looked very cool. And it wasn't even in 3D. Yeah, I think, here's what I think. Going back to Avatar just one more time. I think when they first released Avatar back in 2008, right? Was it 2008? Can I get a verifying check on that? I think it was 2008. When they released Avatar in 2008, I think once they got the numbers back, they realized a few things. Honest opinion. I think they realized, one, if you force people into a 3D experience, you can almost trick them into the illusion that the movie is better than what it is, especially if the graphics are above the standard or above what you're usually expecting, which is what Avatar is. So I think 3D is a huge component for this Avatar series and is what is going to continue making them a lot of fucking money and almost hurting people into a certain experience, because trying to watch Avatar: The Way of Water in standard definition was impossible. I don't even think it exists. I think you can only watch it in 3D right now. So that's my theory on that. Number 2 is I think most people, and I know it's doing well globally, but very well domestically, is I would say there's a thing that most Americans have with cats, and the avatars kind of look like cats. One of my theories. I think people like it because they look like cats. Another theory. And 3 is, I think, another big hook for Avatar is that it's very environmentalist friendly. It's all about saving the planet, not harming the animals, protecting the oceans, being careful of colonizers and people that are trying to take land and things for profit and making that like a socially a thing that they're making people socially aware of as they're watching the movie. So I think that's the third thing. And I think those are the three keys that they're going to keep moving this franchise forward with, and hoping that it is the backbone, which it is the backbone. Because I'm watching that movie and I'm going, man, like they're being so blunt about it. And even though they're being so blunt about it, like protecting the oceans, taking care of animals, you know, stuff like that, being one with your spirit and the land around you, even I was like, man, you know, like I gotta be more. So I could tell, like, okay, if I'm even for a second feeling that way, I know everyone else is. And that's clearly the message that they're trying to portray, is very environmentalist friendly, I guess you could say. I think the cat theory is, if you look at them, dude, massive ears, whiskers, they have a literal cat nose. And how many people went and saw Cats like 4 years ago when it was supposedly like the worst movie of all time? They made that movie because people will watch Cats. It flunked because maybe it was a horrible script or something, but people were down to go to the movies to see people dressed as cats. So I think there's like a cat fetish in the American population, maybe worldwide. I don't know, but that's another theory. Atlas, you might be young for it, but not sure. You ever see the movie Ferngully? Ferngully? Never heard of it. I didn't. I hated it. Didn't make it through trailers. Neither did I, Paralyzer. I'm not really a cat person. I'm actually allergic to cats, so it makes it kind of easy for me to dismiss cats. No, the Cats movie was based off the Broadway show. Yeah, it makes sense. See, even back then, they were making shows about cats. When they couldn't get it to cinema, they were doing it live in front of people. I'm telling you. People have cat fetishes. Why do you think that certain people sit on their phones on YouTube watching cat videos all day? I don't think they're two separate conversations. You put cats and a bunch of big name celebrities together and you get the abomination. You put people that look like cats, make them blue and 9 feet tall, that have perfect athletic ability and can fly on animals and breathe underwater. Sounds like a good selling movie to me. Not for me, but for, you know, the greater population. Minus James Corden. That's what I remember, is James Corden dressed up as a cat. That's the only part of any of those trailers that I remember. Even if it's in the background, it's Avatar, bro. Okay, I'll watch it. Yeah, I think after this second movie, man, so I've heard recently, after people have been analyzing The Way of Water and not speculating, but giving their opinion and analyzing and all that, I did hear comments about people saying that the first Avatar was basically a redressed Pocahontas. Like, it has very, it's based on very overdone themes and storybook concepts. And when I watched Avatar back in 2008, I was 13. So I didn't really see that or understand that or get that, oh, this is just a redressed movie that I've already seen. I didn't have the level of consciousness to understand that yet. So walking out of the first Avatar, I was in love, impressed. I will never forget that experience visually, being like, oh my God, this shit looks insane. I am in the future. But now, after watching the second one, now I'm 27. I'm like, this shit is kind of whack. And it's about to outsell Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. It's potentially going to outsell Infinity War and Endgame. Like, what? That's who these movies are up against in the top 10? Like Avatar Way of Water is sitting next to these other great, momentous, culturally shifting movies. Listen, I don't care if you're not a superhero person movie. Infinity War and Endgame was a moment in time. Was a cultural experience for nerds all across the world. And the movies that are around that in the top 10 are Avatar. Maybe the first Avatar out of respect. But the second one? Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Imagine Avatar getting the entire world to plant a tree, though. What do you mean? I think subconsciously Avatar is going to make a lot of people more environmentally aware and conscious and careful and start second guessing themselves and maybe thinking a little bit deeper on those subjects. Because that's definitely something that the younger generation, starting with maybe mine and the generations under me, are more focused on in politics and stuff like that, like wanting global warming and our oceans being dirty and trees and, taking care of Earth. So I think it's on par with what's already happening. Will it add a little bit? Probably. It should be a national holiday. I agree. The day that Infinity War and Endgame came out should be a national holiday. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I might make it a national holiday for myself and take it off every year. Let's see. What date did Infinity? April 27th, 2018. Pioneers, this April 27th, we are taking it off. I will not be working. What day of the week is that? I will not be doing anything other than mourning our heroes. It's a Thursday. Perfect. I'll take Thursday and Friday off. I know it sounds like I'm just being funny, but I'm being absolutely, positively serious. It'll be interesting to have a conversation with someone that's like a big Avatar person, because I definitely think there are people out there that are like, oh my god, this shit is crazy, like this is so deep and like emotional, and like his family, he lost his son, like it's just, oh my god, the themes are so fucking moving. It's like, it's not that deep. Like, when people make things deeper than they are, you know those people? Raise your hand if you know those people. It's like, this is fake deep, bro. Like, this is pretty surface, and if any of it is deep, it's like, it's just stealing deep concepts, but not, you know what I'm saying? I think what I need is someone who really enjoys them, and then I want to argue with them. I think that's what I want to do this week. Does anybody here really like Avatar? You know what I mean, Migs? Like, he wants to protect his family, so he leaves his entire nation behind, by the way. Let's just forget about that. Let's never talk about the forest people again. He's a water person now. And his son dies. I rest my case. Ledge, did you watch the first one or the second one? Nation, his entire animal kingdom. Migs, when did you watch it? Dominic Toretto has entered the chat. Family? By the way, I saw a screenshot of him in participation for a trailer coming soon or something. I am not a Fast and Furious franchise guy. I've seen what's about to come out right now? 10? Fast 10? I think I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. and then maybe saw like 6, 7, and then saw 9. I skipped like 3 of them. It's 11? Okay, so maybe I've skipped 4 of them. I've seen most of them though. Grew up with them, of course. And then after Tokyo Drift, kind of fell off. And then kind of hopped on again just to like see what's going on. And then hopped off. And then when Paul Walker died, obviously had to watch that movie. That's like a societal mandatory movie to watch. If you haven't seen that, you have no soul. And then I fell off again. I was in the hype when it dropped. I went to IMAX, which was still new in theaters and in 3D. My mind was blown from the visuals, but I also came out like, damn, this was Fern Gully, but like 2 hours long. Fern Gully, man. Fern Gully. By the way, Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest with Robin Williams? Is that what you're talking about? Looking like a Tinkerbell type shit? Peter Pan? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I was about to say something. Fuck. What was I just about to say, guys? What was I talking about? Before Fern Gully. Right before. Not Fast and Furious. Oh, I had something. Totally gone. Yeah, it says Robin Williams here was voice actor for Batty Coda. I've never seen the movie, so I don't know what this is. Fuck. I had something good to say too. Bummer. Fast and Furious is the reason I'm into muscle cars. Fast and Furious is the reason for the car culture that exists in the world right now. Easily. Car culture exists because of Fast and Furious. Period. End of story. May have it existed in other times prominently, sure, of course. Like people have always driven since driving cars, of course, right? People drive cars, people like cars, I get it, yeah. But since Fast and Furious, it's turned into like a culture. It's, if you're a car dude, you've seen all the Fast and Furious, and it's like a thing. Am I right or am I right? You disagree, really? I think family culture exists because of Fast and Furious. Imagine. Shut the fuck up. Fast 5 was the last one I watched. Fast 5. What was that one? Fast 5 was... Yeah, I saw this one too. Oh, with Gal. Yeah, I saw this one. I'm not yawning. Brazilians, Fast and Furious, and Cars. That is like... It's the most predictable thing on planet Earth. Damn, guys. I was going to say something, and I totally forget. And the main actor dude that made the Terminator movie that same year said that movie, him turning into a robot, that was better. Megs, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Tokyo Drift was Fuego. I would say the best one are the is the second one, right? Too Fast, Too Furious. Is that the one where he where with Tyrese and they steal the Ferrari with the cigar inside the car and the glove compartment, and that one and Tokyo Drift, best ones by far. You'll watch Andor tonight. That's what you were going to watch. No, I'm actually going to watch Survivor tonight because I just started a new season with Bella. And then maybe if I'm bored enough, I'll watch Andor. Listen, brother, I heard Andor's... This is the last time I'm going to talk about Andor in this stream, Ledge. Ledge is a mod, but the only time he chats in my stream is to talk about Andor. Imagine? Listen, I know Andor is great. I've heard it's fantastic. I'm probably going to fucking love it. But I don't feel any sense of urgency to watch that show at all. Why? Because it impacts nothing. It does nothing. it's a story within a story about a guy who we already know dies and we already know what happens. You know? Where's the investment? What am I, like holding on for? Like what's going to change if I watch it now or in 10 years? Is there anything? Ledge, am I miseducated? Do I not know what I'm talking about? Yo, Legend Paralyzer, try it one more time. You got to at least hear me out on that without giving me spoilers. I know it's going to be really good. I know it's as good as Rogue One, but I don't have any urgency to watch it because there isn't any, because it's Star Wars doing more filler shit. I'm tired of filler content. I'm tired of it. I will die on this hill. I will die on it. Okay? Star Wars needs to do better. Like, can you name any franchise that recycles and does more filler content than Star Wars? Andor explains the multiverse of Star Wars. Andor is basically Khan, or do you mean Kang of Star Wars? What are you saying? That's what they do. They create great characters with no background. Then they fill it. I don't like their approach. I bet it's great. I love Star Wars, but I'll get to it when I get to it. It's kind of, I'm all caught up with Mando. I'm good with Mando. I still have to watch episodes 6 and 7 of Boba, because I know those are very important, because 5 was very important. I mean, like, I can't believe it wasn't a part of season 3. It's actually crazy. So manipulative in their marketing. It's fucking gross, actually. Whatever. Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah, give it to me in Marvel terms. Give me the significance of Andor in Marvel terms, or just in very simplistically explained. I know it's going to be good. It's just, it can wait. It can wait. You can say you love Star Wars and neglect their second best piece of content. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Fast and Furious cash grab. It's exactly what it is, man. And the more that I age and the older that I get and the more content that I watch and the more movies that I watch and shows that I watch, the more and more and more I'm aware of the cash grab, and the less and less and less I want to watch anything that makes me feel that way. That makes me feel like you're trying to get me to invest in something so that I keep watching more things that aren't really doing or leading to anything other than just giving me more things. I feel that way about Avatar. I feel that way about, I guess Fast and Furious, because we were talking about it. I feel that way about Star Wars in the last 15 years, since 2003, since Revenge of the Sith. I mean, no, that's not true, because they moved forward with the Skywalker saga in episodes 7, 8, and 9. But we're all in agreement, right? That 7, 8, and 9 is like it didn't really happen, right? We're all kind of like, yeah, sure. It's not canon. It's not canon. Absolutely not. And I agree with you on those Boba episodes. And that's another thing. That's another cash grab. Like, you're forcing me to watch Boba Fett when I don't want to watch it, but you're giving 3 episodes completely to The Mandalorian, and then within those episodes, you're making content that is actually vital to his character arc and where he's headed in the future. That's fucked up. It's fucked up. Andor shows the literal birth of the founders of the rebellion. Okay. Like I said, I'm speaking out of my ass with Andor. I'm speculating. But for the most part, I know what I'm saying. Like, I know it's going to be filler. It's going to give me more lore. It's going to explain a few things, but I'm not moving forward. And that's my problem. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to watch it. And that's it. Don't give me sequels. End every single movie like it's the last one and surprise me a few years later with another movie. That should be the formula. That should be the formula. And last thing I will say is that Kevin Feige said... No, it wasn't Kevin Feige. I'm sorry. It was the Russo brothers when they were working on Captain America Winter Soldier, when they were working on Infinity War, when they worked on Endgame. They said that their strategy for writing movies is to back themselves up into a corner, to not know where the story can go from here, not try to necessarily set anything up, is to do the justice that this singular movie and story deserves. And then when it's time for the sequel, if that happens, we wrote ourselves into a corner and now we have to find our way out and write a new story that we think is appropriate. That should be the strategy, because that's the best way that you care for each product individually, rather than create 5 movies in one. You know what I'm saying, right? I think that's the approach, man. One at a time, do justice to one, and then maybe if down the line we feel like there's more story to tell, beautifully. And honestly, I think that's what Last of Us did too. I think after Last of Us Part 1 ended, they sat in the writing room and go, okay, like there's definitely more story to tell, but what story do we tell? Like, we didn't really lead it into anything with people expecting like the game could go this way or that way. Okay, how can we write part 2? Well, we know that Joel killed basically everybody in the first game, and he made a lot of enemies, so maybe we should make the second one about people getting revenge on him, and maybe that being a factor in Ellie being safe and her having to whatever. You see what I'm saying? You find elements and then you write a new story. You don't make the first movie and try to make the second one in it. Makes sense? That's my piece. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Andor is solid, though I will admit Star Wars decided to keep the children tucked in and sleeping for the show due to the drama that the show has. After the second episode of Andor, we were 100% tensed up watching episode after episode until the end. That's exactly what I hear. I just hate having to go through the hump of like, fuck, I gotta go through like 2 mediocre episodes and then it gets really good. I'm going to watch it. I really do want to watch it. I'm actually excited to watch it. I'm just annoyed that I have to go through 2 boring episodes. That's all. But I'll get over it. Thank you guys very much for tuning into the Pioneer Podcast, where you guys decide the conversation. I try and come in here with no schedule, no agenda, just some things on my mind. And if you guys bring something up, I'm happy to talk about it and discuss it. That's what we did today, and that's what we do every single Monday, because the community is first for me. You guys make this possible. Thank you very much for the support. As always, to the members, to the subscribers, I love y'all, man. If you haven't liked the stream, like the stream. I will see you tomorrow or Wednesday. I don't know which day, for Last of Us Part 2. Thank you guys for spending time. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all very much. Love y'all, man. Thank you very much for tuning in. To all the chatters, I appreciate you. For anyone who's lurking in the background in the shadows, doesn't want to be known, I appreciate you too. And thank you for your time. I'm out of here, guys. Adios.